Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. This quote from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, not only fits in the context of Anakin Skywalker's doomed journey to the dark side, but also reactions from superfans of the space opera franchise when this prequel released in 1999. The Phantom Menace introduced a whole new cast of characters and was set 32 years before A New Hope, during an era of turmoil in the Galactic Republic.
And, I don't feel a lot of pressure. It's kind of fun.
George Lucas took a massive risk by pursuing Anakin Skywalker's story after the success of the original trilogy. Would Star Wars survive without Harrison Ford's devilish charm, Carrie Fisher's spunk, and Mark Hamill's pure goodness? The answer is yes, but the road to get there was not easy. On its face, The Phantom Menace was a commercial triumph. It saw intense coverage from the media and racked up $924 million at the worldwide box office upon initial release, making it the highest-grossing movie of 1999.
I don't get enough of it. I want to see it again already.
It was amazing. It was everything I thought it was going to be and more.
Audiences were eager to return to the universe they loved as children, but it undoubtedly looked vastly different in The Phantom Menace. Lucasfilm set a bar as high as the Death Star with the original trilogy, and they were already at a disadvantage when many people just hoped to relive their childhoods through the prequel films. 25 years later, the faults present in The Phantom Menace are abundantly clear, but that doesn't make the film deserving of the intense backlash it received upon its release.
And this one just hits the beats.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people audition real well.
Okay.
Unfortunately, almost every second of the 133-minute runtime of The Phantom Menace felt like exposition for the rest of the trilogy. There weren't any high-stakes battle between the light and dark side like there were in the original trilogy. Instead, the plot of Episode 1 revolved around the Trade Federation blockading the planet Naboo in preparation for an invasion, as the young Queen Padme Amidala, Natalie Portman through cleverly disguised as Keira Knightley throughout much of the film, fought to protect her people.
I am Queen Amidala. This is my decoy.
The Supreme Chancellor of the Republic sends Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi to negotiate peace and protect Padme. For a so-called space opera, the plot of The Phantom Menace was extraordinarily dull. After Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Padme become stranded on Tatooine while trying to reach the Republic capital planet Coruscant, they meet a young Anakin Skywalker, enslaved by a creature named Watto.
Well, 3PO, I've been freed, and I'm going away in a starship.
Anakin is a boy gifted with engineering skills, and Qui-Gon senses a deep connection to the Force inside him. Instead of simply planting the seed of Anakin's importance and continuing forward with the story, the film spends almost 40 minutes on the desert planet where Anakin wins a pod race for the first time. He is undoubtedly one of the most central characters in the Star Wars franchise, but Attack of the Clones is when his role truly develops. At this time, Anakin is simply a boy desperate to leave home, and that could have been shown in a much more concise manner. None of the trade dispute drama matters in the grand scheme of Anakin Skywalker's journey to becoming Darth Vader. When looking back on the prequels, nobody refers to the Phantom Menace as containing any critical moments, with the exception being Anakin and Padme meeting for the first time, foreshadowing their romance. In a scene inside Watto's shop, Anakin seemingly flirts with Padme, 5 years his senior, but shows his immaturity when he lashes out at her for calling him a slave, and then brags about his skills as an engineer and pilot.
I'm a pilot, and someday I'm gonna fly away from this place.
This scene has been dubbed excessively awkward and unnecessary since the release of The Phantom Menace, and upon revisitation, it's not any better. Star Wars fans are incredibly passionate, which should have been a positive for a franchise trying to return after a 16-year gap. But when they didn't like what they saw in The Phantom Menace, many blamed the actors and violently attacked them for ruining the series. A majority of the animosity was aimed towards Ahmed Best, who played the eccentric and sometimes incredibly annoying Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar was an exiled Gungan creature from Naboo with a peculiar manner of speaking that made his character impossible to take seriously. At his best, he was comic relief. At his worst, he was so unlikable to some fans that they harassed Best for years, leading him to contemplate taking his own life. A similar response was given to Lloyd for his performance as a young Anakin, who was recently checked into a mental health facility after struggling with schizophrenia since 2008. His mother Lisa spoke out to NBC News last month, stating that his mental health issues were not a result of the Star Wars hate. I protected him from the Star Wars backlash, she said. He was just riding his bike outside, playing with his friends. He didn't know. He didn't care. Everybody makes such a big deal about that, and it's rather annoying to me because Jake was just a little kid when that came out, and he didn't really feel all that stuff because I didn't let him online. The Phantom Menace is by no means the best Star Wars film. The issues with the script, visuals, and plot prevent it from being as rewatchables as others like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. However, that doesn't mean the reactions from the fans and media were appropriate, especially when Lucas was attempting to continue one of the most beloved franchises of all time. The final lightsaber battle between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon is one of the most beloved fights in Star Wars history. Soundtrack to John Williams' masterful Duel of Fates score, Qui-Gon and Maul's lightsabers clashed with a fluidity that was lacking in the original trilogy because of VFX restrictions, and Qui-Gon's death, followed by Obi-Wan stepping up and battling Maul in his place, foreshadowed the impact he would have as a future Jedi Master.
What will happen to me now?
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi.
While the trade dispute might not have been the most gripping Star Wars storyline, it helped enhance the political intrigue of the franchise and paved the way for the animated series like The Clone Wars and Rebels. By focusing on life before the Empire, Lucas unlocked potential for fan-favorite characters like Ahsoka Tano, Ezra Bridger, and Kanan Jarrus. Without The Phantom Menace, the Star Wars universe would not be as rich and expansive as it is today.